Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a new episode of Eve Echoes. Tonight on the show, we're going to be reviewing a lot of the comments that have been posted on the latest videos that I upped on the channel in terms of the balance update. The balance update that's supposed to be hitting the live server on May. Now, as you all know, there's a lot to discuss about the May balance update. There's a lot of controversial stuff inside of it. Some stuff are good, but most of the stuff, oh, don't even get me started on those. Now, I don't know if you're aware or not, I already posted it on the main official Facebook group, and on the community tab inside this channel, you will find the URL, the link that points to the feedback submission form. Now, this was generated by the community manager Joseph in order for us to give the developers feedback on this specific update. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you all to submit your feedback, be it good, be it bad. However, I do encourage it to be polite and constructive. Why? Because we need this feedback to reach the developers. Don't go over and try to curse or swear or stuff, mainly because it'll probably be ignored, and we don't want that. As I've spoken to Joseph in these past couple of days, he did mention something, that they are actively looking into what's wrong with the update, and they're trying to identify the worst parts that they need to change, so this gives us hope. I know this is pretty much something big to ask out of everyone, because, well, we're already paying our subscriptions and we've heavily invested into this game. However, if we want to get things done, I'm not sure if the developers are actively monitoring the comment section of each official content creator, or if they're taking in feedback from the Discord. They're probably busy developing new features. I would say that the game is still young. It's still under 1 year of development. They're still actively trying to put out new content, and this in turn is one of the problems, because they're so focused on delivering new stuff in order to appease the player base that is looking for new content, that they are skipping or I'd say not paying attention to what the player base actually is demanding of them. So this is our chance to push, and I'm a big fan of action and reaction. Wherever there's an action, there's also reaction. Whenever we push, there's also going to be a pushback, and in my hopes, this pushback is going to be something positive. Why? Because if we push hard enough and point that this balance update is crap, they will push back in terms of modifying the existing balance update into providing us with the proper content that Eve Echoes deserves, that we as a player base deserve. So I encourage you all to go and submit your feedback, not necessarily bugs, but everything that you feel is wrong with this May balance update. So let's go ahead and scroll through some of these comments, but before we do that, there's one important thing that we need to mention. The highly anticipated scanning, the exploration feature, was postponed until June. Now, we may look at this on a negative way and realize that they're up until the necks in developing and doing stuff, and they're quite oblivious to what's happening around them. Or we might take this as an important step in fixing this big pile of steamy whatever it is. Because the scanning feature is postponed, the exploration is postponed until June. This means they have listened to some of my queries regarding, if you are going to deliver all that May update that's written in the Trello, when will you have time to amend all the issues that will be found in the public test server regarding the update balance? So I'm taking this as half a cookie, or as one might say, the half-full side of a glass. It means they've taken in on a buffer, whatever we provide, taking the time to understand what they need to change in order for the balance update for May to be proper. So though I'm sad that this feature is going to be postponed, I'm actually happy that they did it in some way. So let's use this opportunity in pushing as much feedback as we can and pointing out all the problems that this balance update has brought on us. All of you ladies and gentlemen have provided remarkable feedback in the comment sections of the past videos regarding the balance update. So let's just begin. And we've got Ajd Lamb, Dominic, DPS nerfed, Bellicose, heavy interdictors, missile DPS cut in half, Phantasm, shield feed module now means you take more damage when solo, also tracking frigates seems broken. That's my 3 main ships buggered. I could quit the game if these go live. Not happy. These are fair points. One indeed does affect me as well, that is the DPS on the Dominic's being nerfed, because I'm mainly a drone boat pilot. I only have skills in drones, so this was very peculiar, because just nerfing the DPS on the Dominic's and having the same ship with the same bonuses that is the current Dominic's on the live server moved over to the Dominic's 2 on tech level 10 was very upsetting for me as well. Moving over, we've got to Raiden Berthelet. There's a lot of focus on future ships and nothing to really help new players get into the game. With the addition of exploration, I see so many newbies are going to get destroyed and potentially leave, as the ship they will be flying just cannot compare. Tech level 10 is far away compared to the needed balances to ships that new players will be flying. This is a very strong point. So new players that are coming inside the game as we speak, they are faced with a conundrum, a problem that basically their content, the content that they have access to is very shit compared to whatever the high players have available. The game is not balanced. The balance should not supposed to be like what's happening now. Every ship on every tier being brought up to the same level, like tech level 3, all ships being brought to the same level, tech level 4, or brought to the same level, tech level 9, 10, blah blah blah. No, the Eve game is about asymmetrical combat. So a tech level 3 pilot with a shit frigate should be able to take down a tech level 7 pilot fitted improperly or fitted for some specific encounters. By encounters, I don't mean PvE, I mean encounters fighting something that he's aiming towards, like fighting cruiser versus cruiser. So if you're going with the small ship that is tech level 4, for example, you should be able to take him down. It's asymmetrical combat. It's rock, paper, scissors. It's what you got versus what he got. And if you have exactly anti what he's got, you should be able to take him down. Moving over to Alex Kirov. Drones will be the worst weapon system soon. I'm very sad about it as well. Dominic's battleship on the test is basically a tiny bit better than the Prophecy, and Dominic's 2 is the current ship we have. Yes, it is. While all other ships were not fixed at tech level 9, but fixed at tech level 10, some got a mid or high slot they needed. Why not leave Dominic's the way it is and just give it an extra slot, a low slot, allowing for tracking mode or anything customization drones have issues with. They already gave all systems damage boost, but not drones. This is something I emphasized on a lot of the videos that I posted. Weapons are getting new level factions while drones do not. They will get one in August, but it's a long way until then. How badly they want to destroy drones. To be honest, I'm looking at battleships now and wondering, why did I respec from battle cruisers? Very good points, Alex. Thank you very much for your feedback. Please do remember to submit your feedback. I've already submitted my own feedback, and I've included a lot of you guys, a lot of your feedback as well. Because the more, the merrier. But that doesn't mean you have to stop there. If we all submit the same feedback, same things, over and over again, maybe it will go down to their thick skulls, and it will help them understand that what they did right now is bad. Moving over to Persedicera. I hope these destroyers changes are a bad joke. I don't know what to think about these balance updates, as they took all feedback from players over all months of gameplay and they just spat on them. I had the same impression as well, mate. For God's sake, who are the developers and community managers listening to? Well, to answer that, I actually did answer this in my previous video. I think Reddit trolls. I have no idea. Or maybe there's just based off statistical data, as mentioned with the interdictor destroyers. When I read these balance changes on destroyers, I was shocked because they didn't in any possible way try to fix the lack of DPS, usefulness and versatility of destroyers. They instead stabbed destroyers in the back. Yeah, they basically took them down to the point of ruination. They are supposed to be buffed, not completely destroyed. Even the interdictor destroyers are now completely useless. You can still use them just for the interdiction role, but they cannot fulfill, for the love of God, the role of the destroyer which the class represents. Continuing with Ben G, I'm perplexed by some of these changes, and I think they have gone way over the top with all the extra ships. It's as confusing as heck. Things that stand out for me is the Raven Striker is worse than the Raven in terms of its raw DPS and its siege mode, which makes everything you're firing do hardly any damage. That is because of what we talked about in the previous video with the explosion velocity and explosion radius. Well, see, turns out not just bombers are affected by the problems related to the large missile systems. It's also the battleships that uses those. The only ship that has an extra advantage is the Typhoon, which has a bit of bonus in the ship attributes in regards to explosion of velocity, if I'm not mistaken. I think I saw the large rapids being also nerfed in terms of explosion velocity and explosion radius, so the bonus that was on the Typhoon will now make the ship feel normal, not correctly buffed, and all the other battleships that use large missile system will just feel downright nerfed. Looking at the base price of the tech level 10 cruisers, and the fact that their DPS is not much better, why would you fly one over a battleship? The Interceptor Mark IIs do insane damage for a ship meant to tackle. Slasher Interceptor Mark II are better even than the Dramiel. The Ashimu still shield tanks better, as it can't dual medium rep without losing a partner and lacks the grid for a large armor repper. Battlecruisers do insane DPS almost as much as a battleship, and I think they are OP. Honestly, I think they have gone way overboard with the extra ships, and they need to first consider where are the problems with current balance, rather than just adding more powerful ships across all levels, since this just compounds the issue. This is one of the points that I try to emphasize on my last two videos. Thank you, Benji, for your comment. Moving over to PB. If this is the update they release in May, I am done. Might come back to it a bit down the road, but this is just embarrassing at this point. I do feel you, and honestly, if I really would want to change something, I would go and help submit that feedback. Now, I won't guarantee this would work, but it's the only thing that we've got to submit the feedback and make them, push them in understanding that what they've done is bad. If this doesn't change anything, and this update really goes into May and goes into the live version, then I personally will just state that this game is going down below, and I don't know if it will die or not, but it will be so low, and I will be very saddened about that. I mean, this is supposed to be Eve, man. God damn it, Eve. It brought onto our mobile devices. If this goes into live, it's going to be a very sad moment. And I honestly, I don't want that. I want to fight until the last breath and use every opportunity that I have to try to push for a change, to make myself heard out there. Moving over to Ryan Ornes. I agree the update ruined a lot of the smaller ships, especially when destroyers are already needing a buff in balancing them out. The Thrasher fleet issue I use in PvP is able to solo an interceptor, which it should, but is hard-pressed 1v1. The Thrasher Interdictor already has no tank, which was made up for with the Thrasher 2 Interdictor, but they were glass cannon to begin with. The removal of 2 high slots just makes them pure throwaway dictators now. And he is right. The destroyers literally have a hard time 1v1 frigates, and especially interceptors. I mean, maybe interceptors should be nerfed, maybe they're okay, but we are seeing this through the prism of having no ships to deal with these interceptors. Now, there were supposed to be proper ships to deal with frigates. Yeah, they're called destroyers. Well, guess what? Destroyers are shit, and they've been nerfed even harder. And the only update was the speed, but there's no tracking bonuses, there's no extra guns, there's no availability for more tank or more. I have no idea. There's plenty of opportunities to find a fix for the destroyers. You just have to, I don't know, the development team just have 2 guys, one fly a frigate and one fly a destroyer, and try to get into a 1v1. See who always wins. Maybe that lighten up a bulb in there somewhere and helps you understand what the destroyers are now. It's pure shit. Moving over to Jesus Lopez. Dude, why they cut the heavy interdictor's DPS too? I entered the test server with my arbitrator interdictor and I only have 1 weapon and 2 drones. 1 weapon and 2 drones. I can't even win a trainer caracal with that DPS. Put a point on me, destroy the only 2 drones, and only I have little missile launchers to defend myself. For me, the new command battle cruisers are the only thing good in this update. The rest is horrible, and he's right. The heavy dictators indeed were kind of a powerhouse, and they were used to solo PvP and solo bubble, and yeah, they were a bit OP, I would say. But nerf them right down to not being able to deal with a trainer cruiser. What the hell was going on here? Who developed these changes? Come on, mates. Designers, wake up. So I agree, the heavy dictators could have been nerfed for a little bit, but oh boy, you completely remove their purpose and how they can even, I don't know, defend themselves and do some proper fielding in space. Moving over to Master Sash. Thank you for your video. I'm a destroyer pilot, but today I stopped further skilling into this type of ship. I agree they should change the name into something else, but not destroyer anymore. Thanks, and 07. And this is sad. Destroyer pilots are now abandoning destroyer just as I have foreseen. This is not normal. Having a class completely abandoned is not the way to go. Kazar Bizarre wrote us, I'll stat by saying I lose my mind with every update. Having said that, I take issue with the assumption that you and Sovereign RPG make about the use of bombers. If the sig radius and explosion stats don't allow without modification to apply to a procurer or battleship, then maybe that's not what they are for. You can apply to a battleship if you reduce the explosion radius with rigs and web it to death. P.S. Nobody is doing this. What I take issue is what is meant for stations. Probably the problem is that the game can't handle number needed for stations sovereign fights, rendering any interesting meta useless, including bombers. Well, me and Sovereign RPG actually tied into the fact that in Evil Line you had some skills that would buff these attributes. Here you do not. Indeed, these types of ships might be intended for something else, like only battleship bombardment and only station bombardment, but as you mentioned, the game not being able to handle a big number in fleets, or at least system supporting a big number of players doing all sorts of meta gaming. When I'm stating, okay, there's the main fleets engaging, okay, but there's some support fleets that are doing their own thing, like a squadron of bombers trying to take out the battleships in one of the main fleets, or I don't know, like a squad of bombers or a squad of whatever else just coming in from behind trying to reset the counter on the station so it does not repair and keep the damage going while the main fleets engage, or the fleet of interceptors trying to tackle all the bubblers to get rid of them. That's metagaming. That's some interesting things that are being done in Evil Line, and players are doing this and they're fighting in the metas. Here, not so much. Mindargus Tamosionis wrote to us, I don't mind interdictors being treated as support vessels, but other decies still suck balls. Ajd Benedetto wrote, more and more I've come to the realization that the people in charge of this game are clueless in terms of balance or just how Eve works in general. It's getting real hard to keep wanting to play this game. Low sec might as well not exist in this game. I understand wanting to separate the mobile version from Eve Online proper, but at least use the base game of Eve as a template and then tweak from there. We'll see how the rest of the year shapes up, but I assume if they keep going the way they are, they're going to be bleeding subscriptions down to a ghost town level of die-hard whales who spend too much on the game to feel that they could quit and still sleep at night. That is a valid point and an excellent challenge for the developers. I mean, what are they doing? What is the purpose? RL wrote to us, my test server experience has mostly been positive in that I'm only testing the same boring PvE content I've been reduced to doing in the live game to make ISK. Why would you? No, RL, please don't try to do ISK on the test server. They already gave us a bunch of it. Overall, no real difference. Sure, there are different ships to fight, but clear times and bounty ticks are roughly the same. Rats are much slower now, giving you more time to lock and eliminate them. Might even trot out the broken as fuck sentry drones and see how they now perform. The whole update is very underwhelming. I won't be bothering with testing new ships. My current hangar will suffice till exploration comes out, and even then I doubt anything will need to change. To be honest, I think they've now included too much as wants to be balanced, which I think we had all feared to some degree. Yeah, this is something that I actually pointed out even when the first time I saw the Trello roadmap. There's so many stuff cramped up in May. Not only the balance update, which indeed has too many stuff in it, there's also a lot of other bunch of stuff that, well, they basically collided. They go head to head with everything that's trying to be put in, and guess what? Developers' attention is spread across multiple things, and that's not good because, well, you get the point. Look at what the test server is experiencing right now. Richard Gould wrote to us, I'm pleased with armor and command bursts are nice, not thrilled with the rest of it. Now, let's count them, shall we? So I have 3 things that I'm happy with from the entire update. He mentioned 2. The one that's missing, and it's on my side as well, it's the speed boost for the destroyers. Now, unfortunately, there's a collective attribute that says the rest of it. The rest of it is pretty huge compared to all these 3 items that are considered good. The rest of it is shit, yep, and it's absolutely not thrilling at all. And moving over to the last comment that we have, Judge Manny, which has been a follower of our channel for a long time now. He mentioned something that we try to emphasize at the beginning of this video. Big dumpster fire. For when submitting feedback, we should all collaborate. Make a single copy-paste thread to post in their Twitter, Discord and in-game, or now even as the feedback form is available. One feedback from all of us. All in the same thread, and is supposed to be the same ideas being propagated by every pilot, because this balance update is crap. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your comments and for your insights and feedback. Please do remember to submit your feedback as well in the feedback form. It was provided on the Eve Echoes official Discord. I've also posted it in my community tab. I've also posted it on the official Facebook group. Please hop in the merry bandwagon and submit your feedback. Help us drive the idea and the knowledge that what they did here is wrong and they really need to address it before deploying it on the live server in May. Don't forget about our community question of the week. What do you think about the balance update? Is it good or is it bad? Tomorrow we'll be announcing the winners. So I guess that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. A very big shout out to my channel supporters, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.